Hey friends, you're watching BrainStormAcres. I'm Henry. Now you may be wondering what's in this big white thing. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Irene is out doing some work in the garden, getting things cleaned up. We're supposed to have some high winds today, so I'm going to be doing a little bit of this inside, and I'll be going out and joining her. I'm going to be working with a pretty significant battery here. So one of the first things I encourage everybody to do, if you're going to be working around a battery of any kind or any kind of electrical, take off your rings, take off your necklace. Don't have them hanging around. My ring is going in my pocket. Like pretty much every lithium battery that you can buy commonly in the United States, these batteries were made in China. There's a lot of reasons for that, but it's important to know that they were made in China. Now with the current shipping delays, that may be a problem. I bought these before the shipping delays really started happening, but it still took, I think, 7 or 8 weeks to get these batteries. They weren't terribly expensive. They're about 1/3 the price of a full battery that I could buy here in the US that would do a similar kind of job. Now, in order to get started here, I need to check the voltage of each of these cells. Now, a cell is a simple construction of an electrode, some kind of media that's going to allow electrons to flow from one side to another. Now, all of that's not really terribly important, but it is important to know what the voltages are, and I'll explain that in a minute. Now, this battery should be about 3.5 volts, but it's actually 2.95, something like that. Now, if you're not already familiar with using a digital multimeter and probing these kinds of things, I suggest that you start a whole lot smaller. Working with something this size and with this much power in it can be pretty dangerous. This individual cell, which should be about 3.6 volts, can put out about 100 amps. That's an awful lot of power. What I need to do now is I need to check all my other cells to see if it's going to require any other kind of conditioning before I start putting these things together. And I'm not going to take them out of the container. I'm just going to go ahead and measure them right where they are. That's also 2.95, 2.95, 2.96. A lot of times you have to do what's called balancing these cells. And that takes some specific techniques. Fortunately, these cells are close enough that I'll be able to just start assembling the battery. The goal of this battery is to produce 12 volts. That's for Irene's business, because when we go to events, we need to have some battery power available to us to power the cell phones, her smartphone for taking credit cards, and keeping everything else running while we're at these events. Now, lithium batteries are different from the battery that might be in your car right now. Those are lead acid batteries. They're called flooded lead acid batteries. They're a pretty tolerant product. They don't get out of balance, that is when the voltage between the cells is terribly different. They don't get out of balance very easily. And because they're normally assembled in a closed container, you don't have the option of balancing the individual cells anyway. Now with these lithium batteries, since they're made up of individual cells that are individually packaged, we have the option of balancing all of these cells so that they come to the same voltage. Now that's important for a whole lot of reasons, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. The wind has started coming up. I'm going to go out and help Irene take care of the row cloth that we have on the hoops, because it's just going to get torn up. There's no use for it now because we're not trying to protect any plants outside from damage from hail. It's frozen, it's too late. So we'll get those row covers off, and if time permits, we'll take care of the hoops too. Well, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications because, as you can tell, we have a lot of things going on here at the homestead. Making a new battery is just one of them. Taking care of the garden and getting it ready for the winter is yet another. And oh, by the way, I need to finish winterizing the irrigation because I want to make sure all of the water is blown out of those irrigation lines. Thanks for watching. We'll talk with you later. Bye. And don't forget to brainstorm.